G'day folks, the Aussie Traveller here. It's the 10th of July and I've only got a little small bit of news here today. It's not good, so let's have a look at what we've got. I'm still here in Brisbane and at the moment we are required to wear a mask out in the public. So that's the sort of criteria we're in Australia, well in Brisbane at the moment. A little bit of COVID happening in Sydney at the moment. They've got lockdowns and things happening there. But here in Brisbane at the moment, we just got to wear masks out in public. So things are looking pretty good for us here. Let's talk about Indonesia. As you know, in June, the President made some announcements saying that he's going to start inviting some countries as a bubble as tourists to come into Indonesia. And he said by the end of July he was going to let everyone know what countries he was going to invite. Kind of hasn't happened. There's no official word about that still happening. They haven't said they're not going to invite countries, but they haven't announced anything through the system yet. What's happened? Well, COVID happened, and the cases there in Indonesia are quite high, and the president has had to look at this. And I think what's happened, and according to my friends over there in Indonesia, in the media and in the three forms of government that I have contacts with, he's not going to make any announcements about those countries just yet. It's still going to happen, but because of the high level of COVID cases there at the moment, he's put it on the back burner. So it's still going to happen, but it's just not going to happen right now as we kind of expected it was going to be. And so cool, it's not really the time to be inviting other countries into Indonesia right now, not with the cases the way they are. The other thing that's come out of Indonesia at the moment, and this is official documents are now available, it's the international visitors required to show proof of COVID-19 vaccine is a requirement to enter into Indonesia and Bali. So, what does that mean? You have to prove and show documentation to the Indonesian government on arrival that you've had the vaccines, and both of them as well. So you can't just have had one jab, you've got to have had the two jabs if that's the vaccine that you're having. You must prove documentation now. If you're in Indonesia right now and you don't have the COVID vaccine, you're okay. But if you're coming into Indonesia right now, perhaps on one of those B211 business visas, you will have to show documentation of you receiving the vaccination from your country that you're exiting from. Now, then you still got to isolate. There's talk about the period now between 5 days and 14 days. This is the 10th of July and we're still doing the 5 days. But I believe it's going to change to the 14 days. That's what we're hearing in one of those three levels of government in Indonesia. So be prepared. You're going to have to show documentation on your vaccine. You're going to have to do several PCR tests. One when you hit the country at the airport, when you're at the hotel quarantine, and when you leave the hotel quarantine, the PCR test is going to be required. That's it. I really can't say much more. I don't know a lot. They're not talking about it in any of the three levels of government in Indonesia. Here in Australia, the Ministry of Tourism is just talking a little bit, but they're not saying a lot. Same stuff all the time. I guess what they're waiting for is for the president in Indonesia to start making some announcements. When's that going to happen? We don't know. It's Indonesia. They'll just tell us when they're ready. Sorry about that. But that's the way it is. You're going to need proof of vaccination before you enter into Indonesia from now. Sorry guys. Catch you on the next one. Be safe.